Okay, we have a couple of returns to the forum. The Sensation, aka Mavis, aka whatever other names he decided to choose, has returned after a couple of week sabbatical, a ban which left him alone to go and be with his own thoughts, which is, for the Sensation, I don't know whether that's a good idea or not. But he's back, and obviously he's put up a couple of posts already, one of them a little bit controversial, but that's the way that he goes. So nice to see him back, nice to have his crack. He's a funny lad, he's only a young lad, but you know, he's got a lot of crack, and it's nice to have him back on. And also, the return of Nighty. He has returned. Apparently he's been on a 7-week break fixing Segas somewhere. We're not sure where it was, but he's back now. He's still back in his apartment on the quayside. He's back, and we just want to know one question here. A new member form called the Raji. Now, he says it's his friend. We seem to think it might be him, and if it is him, is it because that's a subtle nudge in the way of the loose man to say, please pick me for your team. I don't like being a Billy Knee mates and want to be in a team. So, you know, keep an eye on that one, because I think you might find the Rajis have got 3 more to announce, and Mighty could be one of those. In fact, we'll find out sooner than later, because I'm going to ask DC about some PMs that he's been reading this week. So, we'll sort that one later on. Okay, on to... sorry, DC's that side of the camera absolutely wetting himself now. Anyway, on to the Teesside syndicate that we had online. Last 2 games were played last week, and I've got to just say this. BGR golfer, Brian Ridley, won the syndicate. He missed 1 week out of the 6, and I think he won 3 out of the 5 weeks that he played. So, you know, very, very, very big congratulations to Brian. He's a really, really nice guy, and I'm really glad you won that, mate. And I'm really glad PokerStars decided to slap you in the face with a debt for 3 tournaments. Only kidding. I'm only kidding. He played really well and thoroughly deserved it. I think Aces Next comes second, and I think Jimmy Chipmunk, rephrase that, name change, Chipmunk Dobbs, came third. I had to go out on Monday, family emergency. I didn't get to see the end of the game, but that is the finishing order that I think that happened. So BGR, well done. Don't think he's going to make this the Teesside game. He's PM'd me, so he's asked me if I will put him into the Liverpool side of the Liverpool leg of the Coral Masters, which I'm more than happy to do, and I think there'll be a few of us down there for that. So we'll see you there. Good luck, Brian. Well done. Also, this Saturday at Circus, as we said before last week, there is a £50 satellite for the Coral British Masters. For every £500 in the pot, there is 1 seat guaranteed. As we said last week, you know, let's try and get 30 or 40 people there, make 4 seats down. They're great tournaments to play in, and for £50, you'll be playing in a national poker event that gets full coverage from AWOP and ranking points for poker rankings, etc. So it's a great tournament to play in. So get yourself to Circus, get a seat for cheap. While we're on the subject of big tournaments, the WSOP main event has reached its final 9, the November 9 as they now like to call it. Included in that is a Brit, James Aikenhead. I think his shortest stack on the final table. However, I think he's got about 6 million-ish chips, so, you know, he's got a real chance. Crowd favourite and probably everybody's favourite, Phil Ivey, is there, 3rd or 4th lowest stack chips. Such a dangerous player, he can easily go on to win that. So we've got to wait till November now, but you know, good luck to James, and well done to everybody else that got there. Let's hope that the final is worth waiting for. Okay, before we just finish for this week, the result of last week's phone vote. If you remember, we asked you if the Rajis were a group of poker-playing socialites who just met for the crack and the game was irrelevant, or if they were an over-60s group of saga holiday makers. Well, the results are in. We had an unbelievable vote on this. We had 200 votes on this. 200. And we had 20 votes to say they were a group of poker-playing socialites. Well, I've no idea who them 20 were. But 180, which makes it a landslide, say that the Rajis are a group of over 60s saga bus holiday makers. And the proviso when people voted was, Looseman is the driver as well. So, you know, the people of the NPF have spoken. You Rajis, take your medicine. You're all saga holiday makers. Okay, as normal, we are going to leave you with a question. However, we will explain why this question comes about to start with. On the forum this week, there was a post up, a little bit controversial, about a ruling that happened at the Grosvenor Casino during a cash game. It was put that there was a ruling, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it was a ruling that went in favour of somebody, and the other guy lost a pot when he in fact should be splitting the pot. It was a straight, and the reason was because he went to muck his cards. I wasn't there, but the impression I get is that he pushed his cards forward to muck them, was that drunk that he slipped over the cards. The cards didn't move, but the action was to muck the cards. And then when he lifted them up, someone behind him on the rail says, "No, you've got a straight." So he turns them over. The pot was awarded to the other guy. I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree with that. That's not for me to mention. But there was a bit of argy-bargy, and on there, Glenn the Geek, Whitehead, put his displeasure at one of the players. And apparently there was going to be maybe a little bit of trouble between him and Donuts until the Geek actually realised that Donuts had reached ginger belt status on black belt poker. And then maybe his arse tweaked a little bit, so that never happened. However, we've had the thread with all the explanations from people, and as I say, I can only go by what's on there, so, you know, I pass no comment as to whether what's said is true or not. But it was purported that the Cubs leader, and that is Pads, purported to be a good friend of Donuts and was trying to help his friend out. Pads is that much of a friend to Donuts that he hasn't even invited him to join the Cubs yet. I wonder if that's because he knows if he asks him he'll be gone in a week's time anyway. We're not sure. But Pads said he was sticking up for his friend by just telling him that he had a straight. He even posted that he would do that again if a similar situation came about, which, you know, I've got to question that myself personally, because in my eyes it's one player per hand. But here is a question for the end of the show this week. Pads, is he a stand-up guy for your mates who'll always look out to help you and do the best he can for you? Or is he one of Willy Wonka's Oompa Loompas? You decide.
Oompa Loompa Doompa-dee-doo, I've got another puzzle for you. Oompa Loompa Doompa-dee-dee, if you are wise, you'll listen to me.